if you're voting for these Republicans in New York, you are voting for someone who supports Donald Trump, and you're anti-woman, you're anti-abortion, and basically you're anti-American because you have just trashed American values and what our country is all about.
3 weeks later.
Someone breaks the law, I'll be the first one to call up ICE and say, get them out of here.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Varied. It's Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we're going to go over a video from New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who seems to be coming to her senses a little bit because she has to. She's coming back into the center when it comes to immigration. She has to do it because Donald Trump, as I said, has a mandate. He made big inroads in New York. He cut the lead that Joe Biden won by in half. He only lost this state by 11 points. Joe Biden, I believe, won by over 20. Also, Lee Zeldin, who ran for governor against Hochul in 2022, only lost to her by little over 6 points. If that race was today, Lee Zeldin wins. And I'm going to show you a couple of maps and the vote count. I'll show you the map of New York and why I think that's true. Kathy Hochul is saying now, if an illegal alien who committed a crime other than breaking into the country illegally committed some other crime, I will call ICE myself to get that person removed because I want to protect my citizens. She's way far from the left and back into the middle on that from some of these other mayors and governors who are basically saying my cops aren't going to help, or they're even going to say my cops will stop ICE from deporting criminal aliens. It's ridiculous. It's not going to work. It's probably the dumbest stance anyone's ever taken. But Kathy Hochul knows she better come back into the center on this or she'll be next. So without further ado, let's go.
Governor, Bruce Blakeman in Nassau County has said Nassau County is not a sanctuary county. We're going to cooperate with ICE. Do you have any plans on, ways that the state might approach the president's plans for mass deportation? Is New York as a whole, under your leadership, a sanctuary state? And I believe that there's a coalition of governors akin to your climate leadership governor coalition focused on protecting immigrants. Is that something that you'd consider joining?
When I would say this, our immigration system is woefully broken.
It's not broken. The laws aren't being enforced that are already within the immigration system. So there's one. Wrong.
It's been broken for decades.
Wrong.
There was an opportunity to make meaningful change.
The people enforcing it have been broken for decades. Not broken. They've been corrupt for decades.
That the Republicans in the House of Representatives killed, and they should be held accountable for that. But we need to fix the border, fix the system.
So much to already talk about. James Lankford, the Republican senator who worked with Democrats on that ridiculously bad immigration bill that the Democrats have been using as a cudgel to bash Republicans ever since the House of Representatives had the common sense to say this is an awful bill. It's basically an amnesty bill. It also put another $60 billion to Ukraine. There was so many things wrong with the bill. The bill probably wouldn't have passed anyway, but they've used it as a cudgel. And James Lankford from Oklahoma, please, would you primary him in 2029 when he's up for re-election? Every single county in Oklahoma voted for Donald Trump. Would you get rid of these rhino senators from Oklahoma and the ones in Cornyn and Texas? Can we please have these conservative states put some conservative senators in leadership, please? Enough of this nonsense, because that gets people like Kathy Hochul able to bash Republicans with. Dummy.
But I'll tell you this. Those who come here legally, we want to get them jobs.
They didn't come here legally.
I have 460,000 open jobs in the state of New York.
How many people are sitting on welfare in the state of New York that are able-bodied and can work one of those 460,000 jobs?
I want them to get the proper work permits. I want them to keep their temporary protective status, if that's what they have. I want to make sure that they're part of contributing to society while they're here. That's separate from people who are criminals. Someone breaks the law, I'll be the first one to call up ICE and say, get them out of here.
Okay, so there you go. There's where she just came back to the middle, to common sense, where if they broke the law and they're here anyway, or while they were here, they broke another law, I'll call ICE. Fine. There she's coming to the middle. She has to do that here. She knows she's on thin ice in New York, and so is every other Democrat.
So there is a difference in categories of individuals. And so I just had a meeting this morning with my team that's been studying all the scenarios that could play out over the next few months and what we need to do to prepare. We'll be announcing more about that, and also making sure that our final requests to the Biden administration are secure. And so that's something else. Again, I'll do a report on what we've achieved in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, she wants all the money that Biden has put aside and hasn't redistributed yet to these states. She wants that money now before he gets out, because she knows that it's not coming if Trump gets in. That's the immigration money to fund all these freebies, not freebies, stuff that we're paying for all these illegal immigrants and all the people that have come to New York because a courageous governor like Greg Abbott started shipping them here to make governors like Hochul actually have to deal with the problem that he deals with every day.
So just to be clear, are you supportive or not supportive of deporting undocumented immigrants whose only crime is either crossing the border or overstaying?
If they're here with legal papers, like they came and they're seeking asylum, like the 224,000 people came to New York.
That's a lie. They're not here seeking asylum. Seeking asylum is not because I can't get a good job in my own country or because I have a domestic violence problem at home. That's not a legitimate asylum claim, okay? So probably about 95% of those 220-something thousand that she just mentioned are not legitimate asylum seekers, and that's another thing we gotta straighten out here. That's also a completely fake narrative the Democrats use to infiltrate the country with, hopefully for them, future voters.
They're here legally in search of asylum.
No, they're not.
And that process
They didn't come through a port of entry, a lot of them anyway, so that'll disqualify them immediately.
will play out. But there are other people who commit crimes or are known to be criminals before they arrived here. When those are identified, I'll be the first one to help get rid of them. I don't want them here.
So you don't hear the other Democrats saying this. They should. She's actually being smart here, but they just can't help themselves. She actually has a little bit of political sense and awareness to know that she better come back to the center a little bit on this issue, or she, like I said, will be next.
I don't want anybody terrorizing my citizens. So that's the difference.
Well, they're not your citizens, okay? You're our governor. We're not your citizens, okay? You work for us.
Thanks, everybody.
So there you have it. Kathy Hochul has to come back into the center a little bit in this issue. She can't go all the way because she'll be excommunicated from the Democrat Party completely, but she's also thinking of political survival. Because I'm going to show you the map right here of New York, where you could see it's a pretty red state. And this was in 2022 when she ran against Lee Zeldin for governor. And in 2022, as you see, it's a pretty red state. A lot of those counties you see are light red. They went darker red when Donald Trump. Long Island, for example, that's where I live, okay? Dark red now. Both counties, Nassau and Suffolk County, are dark red. Long Island is totally any county-wide seat on Long Island, which is Nassau and Suffolk County, are controlled by Republicans now. Everything is controlled by Republicans on Long Island. All these other counties upstate, Donald Trump made them more red. Some of those blue counties that you see, Donald Trump made them less blue. So like I said, if that election for governor is held today, Lee Zeldin wins. And Kathy Hochul knows that she better come back to the center on something as common sense as getting illegal aliens out of the country, especially the ones that we know committed crimes either in the country of origin or have committed crimes while they've been here. So she's got to come into the middle and come to common sense there. These other governors and mayors that aren't doing it, they're doing it at their own peril. The Democrat Party as a whole is doing it at their own peril. So we'll see what it looks like. Like she said, she's going to have a plan rolled out in a couple of weeks. We'll see what the final plan is, and we'll see when the rubber actually hits the road, when these deportations start to take place, if Kathy Hochul is going to live up to what she just said and do the right thing, not only for the people that live in her state, but for her own political career. Remains to be seen. Follow me here on YouTube. I appreciate you guys who've already subscribed. Also, follow me on X, Instagram, Facebook. Love to see you there. And I really appreciate the support. I'm over 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep it going. I want to keep growing this community, growing this channel. I love interacting. Continue following me here at Opinions Vary.